Welcome back to Born to Scale. I'm Meg. I've started interviewing some aspiring entrepreneurs, and on this journey, I have Mustafa Tunjali here today, the founder of Sweet Nothings, an artisan chocolate hazelnut spread born in a small town in Washington. Mustafa started Sweet Nothings because he wanted a spread where hazelnuts actually come first. I personally love hazelnuts, by the way. And Mustafa's brand promise is this: no palm oil, no artificial ingredients. I love that. And no compromises on flavor. He was looking for the chocolate hazelnut spread he loved when he was a little boy in Turkey. And what started at a farmer's market is now on Amazon and growing while Mustafa holds down a full-time job and raises 2 kids. And he's here today to talk about what it actually takes to build a physical product business from scratch with a shoestring budget. Hi, Mustafa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Meg. How are you?
Fantastic. It's great to see you. So I have some real questions about your entrepreneurial journey. We're going to get into some numbers and the reality of what it's really like to start a business from scratch.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, let me dive into the first question. At what point did this stop being something you enjoyed and start being something you had to make work?
It stopped being fun and enjoyment when I realized people were actually willing to pay for it, and they relied on me delivering the same high quality product week in and week out. It was fun to rent out a commercial kitchen, make 40, 50 jars, go to the farmer's market, sell out, and it became a serious business when I didn't want to go to a commercial kitchen for 6 hours on a beautiful Saturday afternoon with no internet connection. But I had to do that because I knew people were going to come in next week, and they relied on me to bring my product because they loved it.
At what point did you decide to rent a commercial kitchen? Because there's a lot of overhead when it comes to spending, and it's a lot of front-loaded spend when you start a new business. What gave you the confidence that this is worth pursuing, a hazelnut chocolate spread?
Well, in the beginning of my journey, I had a few options. My first option was to use something called a cottage food license, which is basically you can use your home kitchen, and there are certain limitations on how to label your product, how to make it, and how to design your kitchen and house. But that only allowed selling to a certain level. And the second option was using a commercial kitchen and getting a local county license that allowed direct-to-customer or direct-to-consumer sale, but you were not allowed to sell wholesale or ship across the state lines. And the third option is actually using a state license, an FDA-approved kitchen, and then you can actually do wholesale, sell online. My first idea was using the cottage food license, but you are limited on the kind of equipment you need to use, and I couldn't get the quality with that. So I had to use a little industrial equipment. So I went the second option, and I was very fortunate that I had a shared commercial kitchen literally 5 minutes from my house, and they were so nice to accept me, and it was reasonable pricing. So I would go there, just rent by the hour. It was clean, beautiful, and I was able to bring my equipment there. I was able to store my ingredients there. So it was very convenient for me, and it really worked out initially until I was ready to move on to the next stage.
What was the next stage?
Next stage is what I am right now, where I'm allowed to sell wholesale and sell online, ship across the state lines. So right now I'm working with a Washington state health license in an FDA approved.
Congratulations. That's so exciting. I have a ton of questions about that. But I first want to ask, when did the money enter the picture? Like real money?
Yeah. Well, it happened twice. The first time was my first farmer's market. The feeling that people are actually willing to give you their hard-earned money in exchange for something you make, that feeling is unbeatable. It's unmatched. Even though if it's a small amount of money, that feeling is very satisfying to me. And the second time was terrifying because that's when I realized how much it costs to keep going and scale. So that was the hard part and terrifying part.
Right. So have you figured out the formula to scale something like this, a DTC product that is not $500? It's a very low ticket product. And with the shipping costs and everything, that's the reality of today's world. How are you going to scale this product?
Yeah, it is going to be difficult. I am still trying to scale at this point. And like you said, if it's a low ticket item, it's really hard to make any real profit because everything else eats at your profit. The shipping costs, especially, I don't know if you heard, now USPS is charging an additional 8% fuel surcharge fee. It was already very expensive. I actually shipped some products where I lost money on the sale. So it is difficult. So right now I'm working with Amazon. Even though their pricing is like referral fees are a little high, at least on the shipping part, I'm able to offer 2-day free shipping. It used to be 5 days, 6 days, 7-day shipping, and it would cost money to the customer. So I didn't like charging for shipping. Also, I didn't want to eat the cost. So the next step that I'm trying to test right now is actually bundles and increasing the average order uh, price. So this way, at least one customer, they spend like $40, $50, then there's some room in there for profit.
You already hit that marketing term there, AOV, average order value. And that's very important in e-commerce, right? So I can tell that you already have some education in marketing. For the listener, can you tell us a bit about your background in business? Have you done anything like this before? So, like, where did you get your education on some of these business and marketing terms?
Well, you kind of jump in and you get wet. So I have no formal business education. My whole background is in science and pharmacy, and my experience is in that field too. I did some side hustles and side businesses. That's how we met actually. But I never actually got a formal business education. But once I get into the field, that's a personal trait of mine. Even if I'm a I don't know, a dishwasher, I have to be the best dishwasher in the world. So I have to learn the ins and outs of everything. So once I start getting into this, I started consuming content, podcasts like this, videos, YouTube videos, books. There's a lot of content out there. And in the age of AI, information is there. It's how I'm spending a lot of my time trying to learn everything.
A lot of people out there will say that in the age of AI, it's so hard to become valuable to the world. But I can tell that you think the way I do. In the age of AI, it's just a lot easier than it used to be to learn and educate yourself on anything.
Yes. You just need to learn how to learn. That's the tricky part. It's not like you just Google something and trust the first thing that comes up. You need to learn how to actually learn something.
That's right. I want to go back to where you mentioned you actually lost some money in the early stages of doing this. I believe that's what separates an entrepreneurial mindset from someone who does not have that. Can you tell me a little bit about your thought process when you were losing money? What does that faith look like in entrepreneurship?
I'm raising 2 children. So when they're first born, they're babies. They can't do anything. They rely on you with everything. You just feed them, you take care of them, they just grow and you just give, 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 give before ever receiving anything back. So you can't just say, this baby doesn't talk, doesn't do anything for me, just throw it away. So you have to nurture it. You have to grow it. So there are times that I make sales even if I'm losing money on that because I am serving that customer. I want that customer to taste my product. And I know and I trust my product that once they taste the product, they're going to come back. They're going to pay full price. I'm going to eventually make money from that customer, even though in the initial sale, I lose money. The same thing with building a building. You first go down, you go to the foundation. You don't just start going up. So if you don't have a good foundation, if you didn't spend enough time and money on that foundation, that building is going to collapse.
You're actually referring to another term in business called LTV here, lifetime value of a customer. And in the beginning, you're basically saying we're going to lose money, but we're going to acquire a new customer that's going to be a repeat customer in the future. And their LTV, their lifetime value, the lifetime sales value of each customer might end up maybe 20 years from now. I don't know, $20,000.
That's a good investment in my book.
Right. A lot of entrepreneurs give up in that early stage because they're like, how am I going to scale? I just lost $3. I just lost $10. I met some really successful businessmen and businesswomen that lost about $500 initially per customer acquisition. It's refreshing to have a conversation with an entrepreneur that has that kind of mindset. On to my next question. It's one of those questions. I know there are going to be stories behind this. Did your friends and family take you seriously at the beginning?
No, they didn't, and honestly, they shouldn't have. It was a crazy idea that I believed in, but people take you seriously after the market does. And until then, you're just someone with an idea. That's a cute little hobby. Yeah, you should try that, but how are you going to make money? Don't quit your job. And it was reactions like that. Like I was having test batches and giving them samples to try. And I could tell, like, yeah, they're supporting me, but I could tell, like, yeah, that's a cute little idea he's working on right now. But when the market takes you seriously and when the money comes in and when the products are going, then people start taking you seriously. And now you're an entrepreneur with a business, not just an idea.
It's not easy because we have Nutella that everyone knows in the United States. How are you going to beat that? How do you think sweet nothings, which by the way, I tried, although I'm on a strict keto diet, I had to make an exception to
Thank you.
try to sample this product and it's amazing. I hope you come up with a keto version of it in the future, but I think it can compete with Nutella. What's your marketing plan?
Actually, I'm not even competing with Nutella. We're not the same product. We're not in the same league. Nutella is a sugar palm oil blend that is with a sprinkle of hazelnuts and artificially sweetened. That has a place. If you want large quantities of it in a filling and you don't care about the sugar content, the palm oil, the artificial ingredients in it, you just want something that actually bombs you with sweetness and you don't care about that mouth feeling, then yeah, go with Nutella. That has its place. It's very cheap. And because it's very cheap to produce, Sweet Nothings is not that. We are a food. This is first ingredient hazelnut. There's 50% hazelnuts in it. And we sweeten with cane sugar. Yes, we use the cane sugar. We use organic vanilla beans, not artificial vanillin. And we use real chocolate. We don't use the cheap cacao powder part of it. We actually use real 100% chocolate.
So your
So,
market is basically anyone that's into whole foods and
yes.
real whole products, whole ingredients, right?
A lot of my customers are Nutella lovers, but they don't want to buy that anymore because they are health conscious. They know how to read ingredients. They're aware of what's in Nutella. They feel bad consuming palm oil because it's very bad for environment, let alone bad for your health. And they just want an alternative. They don't want to give up that taste. So that's where Sweet Nothings come in. So far, probably I had hundreds, maybe thousands of people tried it. I haven't heard a single this is not as good as Nutella. This is better than Nutella is the only thing I hear. So you're not actually sacrificing taste for a healthier product. You're actually getting something even better tasting and better health and at a higher price point. So that's the trade-off.
So to recap what you just said, you have an idea of what your market looks like. Have you created personas for your product specifically?
So I have a customer avatar that I
Wow.
created. Do you want me to go into that?
Yeah, that would be nice.
It is a female in their 30s or 40s, and they start taking their health seriously. They have a disposable income that they can use to buy high quality products. They probably shop at Whole Foods, Sprouts, and instead of buying cheap food, they want to buy quality food. So they put the quality first. And this person is someone who likes to indulge, but they don't want to feel guilt indulging. So that's my briefly uh, avatar, the consumer avatar.
That's spot on. That's what I would think about your product as well, as someone who tried it. So tell me a little bit about your social media journey because I saw your social media account for Sweet Nothings and you're not viral. but you're already in grocery stores. So, what's been your experience with social media? Do you think that it is going to contribute to your sales, or do you think that it's a vital part of what you're doing?
For me, it's been difficult to learn the social media and actually gain any traction from it. And I highly doubt that I made a single sale from social media so far. I think social media has its place and it's kind of like a full-time job on its own.
Hmm.
You need to know the algorithm, you need to have a certain cadence of posting, you need to know how to do the hooks and how to do like it's an engineered process. You can't just post something on social media and expect to go viral. There are a lot of factors to it, and honestly, that hasn't been my focus right now, building the business. But I see some brands out there that made their name in social media, and it has its place. Typically, these I don't want to badmouth any products, but being in this field, I know how to read the label. I know how to judge a product's quality and the price and all that. And what I realize is if the product is not high quality that sells on its own, and you need a certain level of social media presence to actually sell the product. So social media for me hasn't been very successful. I haven't actually focused on that so far to learn everything about it yet.
I agree that for your product, it's probably not the primary channel that you should be spending so much time on. But you did something very smart and you placed your product on shelves in grocery stores where your targeted demographic would visit and find your product. So you positioned your product in front of the eyes of people that matter, not just, your social media account, your mother, your cousins, your friends from high school follow. And I think that's a smart move. Do you think that your product will enter the e-commerce market in the future? Is that a plan that you have?
Are you talking about DTC like Shopify?
Right, like Shopify, maybe shopping campaigns on Google, TikTok
Yeah.
Shop, because social media platforms might have shops that you can also take advantage of because this is such a low ticket product and impulse can be a factor to purchase these, right?
Yeah. Actually, I am on TikTok Shop, but I am not having any success with it because, like I said, selling on TikTok Shop is a lot of content.
Hmm.
So I don't see myself as a good content creator, especially for TikTok audience. So there's a way to use affiliates and micro influencers, and that can become really expensive real quick. And it works at scale. You need to send hundreds, maybe thousands of free jars and maybe pay on top of that to hope for that couple of viral contents that will actually sell the product. And it might work at scale, but at my scale right now, I don't think it will work. And especially for my product, there are certain products that actually have the looks, and some good nut butter cells on TikTok are like filled with like cookies and the
Hmm.
M&Ms and like the candy. So when you show it to the camera, it looks something that is, oh, I want that. Those people are not looking at the quality. It's an impulse purchase. My product has the impulse purchase once you taste it. Until you taste it, it just looks like Nutella. So with TikTok Shop, I haven't had any success. Shopify, I tried it in the beginning of my journey, but I realized it is challenging to bring in people to your store without spending money on ads.
Right.
So
You have to
that's
spend.
that's the part where why I switched to Amazon, because Amazon is like a marketplace that you're opening your store. People are already there to shop and you just need to show yourself. Yes, you still need to spend money on ads, but it has a higher conversion rate and people are already there with the intention. With Shopify, you have a store out in the desert and then you're just trying to bring people there by going to where they are, which is Facebook, Instagram, and then you're showing them ads, hoping that they would click on it and then come to your store, and then you have to convert at your store.
I
So
think that's a
someone who
smart
was
move.
looking at cat videos suddenly ends up on your store. They had no intention of spending money. So it's a little complicated and I'm not there yet.
I totally understand. A lot of UGC creators have fake engagement numbers, and
That's
I've
very
seen that a lot of them subscribe to little WhatsApp groups to generate artificial engagement on each other's posts. And as a marketer, I use software that shows like true engagement numbers of social media UGC creators. And they can trick those at times, but as soon as I go to their account, I will see that a lot of comments came from other like verified accounts, other influencers. That's when I know, okay, maybe this is not the best investment. I shouldn't be working with a micro influencer who doesn't have real organic engagement. But out of curiosity, how much do they ask in order to share one post with your hazelnut spread?
So I've been using a platform. Can I say the name of the platform?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, Social Cat is the platform I use. That's pretty much the entry point. I think the cheapest that I could find. You pay a monthly fee, and then you have a list of micro influencers. You put your product out there, they apply. And then so far, I only work with free samples. I haven't paid anyone for the post. But some of them have low number of views, but it's organic. Everyone who watches that video is actually watching that video because it either popped up on their feed or their friends and they engage. With the low numbers, there's engagement. But like you said, I had a UGC that had over 20,000 views, hundreds of comments, hundreds of likes, and you would look at these numbers and think that that's actually a very successful campaign. But when you go into the back end and look at the video, 99% of people watched only 1 second of the video. So out of those 20,000 people, only maybe 100 of them actually passed the first second of it. So like you said, maybe they have WhatsApp groups and something. They just go in, make a comment without even watching the video. They don't even know what it is. Oh, what a beautiful product. Good job and all that. And it's the same people. And they comment in each other videos. So that 20,000 views and thousands of likes not only didn't bring any sales, didn't even bring any actual eyeballs to my product. So with TikTok, there are TikTok creators that you can pay a flat fee. That's negotiable, but depending on their conversion rate, their organic views, you can negotiate. Some of them want $500, some of them want $1,000. Some of them are worth it, some of them are not. Especially depends on your product. What's your ticket value? How much is your profit per sale? For me, I'm selling a $16 product with, after all the fees are excluded, maybe I'm making $4 or $5 per sale. So paying someone $1,000 for $5 per sale, I need to sell, or that person needs to sell 200 products for me to break even. So that doesn't make sense right now, but I'm willing to explore further once I reach that stage.
Right. It's challenging to figure out how to move the needle in the beginning, especially when you're trying to not lose as much as, you plan to. So in your case, I think branding, just getting your brand name out there, focusing on the persona and reaching those markets, which in paid media cases, in paid advertising, you will have segments available to you in those audiences. But in the organic side, you might want to do more SEO and AEO focused marketing. Are you doing anything on SEO, or are you planning to dive into that strategy in order to reach that health conscious package reading customer?
Yeah, so I have my website and it's not there for conversion purposes. My conversions happen on Amazon. I even linked my website to the Amazon, but it's there to introduce the product, tell the story of the product, and also educate the consumer on why this product is superior. And I use SEO, but SEO thing is very hard to catch up. From I think 15 years ago or something, I really got into this SEO and I was writing blog posts and then doing SEO. And I came to a point where I could just rank for any keyword in the top page of the Google. And I made like 10, 20 blogs and I would just pop up on Google. And then they
That's
just did an
wonderful.
algorithm change and all my blog posts were gone. It went from 1,000 views a day to 10 views a day. overnight. Google just
Yeah, you have to
decided to
stay on
change
top
the
of it.
algorithm.
That
So
makes sense.
it is also a full-time job to keep track of this thing. So I can't be making a product, making content, learning SEO, learning marketing, and all that. So I chose to outsource my SEO. So I hired a company that does my SEO, and what they do is they go in, do the technical audit to make sure the headlines or everything that technical on the website itself is good, and they generate content weekly. So they use the keywords that I give them to generate organic content. They publish on my website weekly. So they just make sure that the website is good for Google algorithm. And
What about
also,
AI? What about AI engines? At what point do AI tools start mentioning sweet nothings as the go-to hazelnut chocolate spread for
I see.
someone who
Okay.
is health conscious and is looking for that high quality spread?
Yes. So that's also part of the service that I get from the company, and I can see keywords visibility on Google and keyboard visibility on prompts. And there are certain keywords that I'm actually ranking pretty well on AI, and I do get visitors from different AI platforms. So they're also working on that. What goes in the background, you know much better than I do. So I chose to leave it to the experts.
How do you keep going when you know that there's no certainty and you have no idea if this will ever scale?
The mindset of an entrepreneur versus an employee is the security, the safety, the comfort zone. I've never seen anything grow in a comfort zone. If you want growth, that happens outside of your comfort zone. You need to take risk, but calculated risk. You don't need to go crazy. But if you just want security, safety, predictable income, just stay an employee. But even though it's predictable, you never know. You're in the mercy of your employer, especially in this economy. We're hearing different companies laying off people, and all of a sudden, your six-figure job doesn't exist. The next morning, you wake up, and what do you do now? With business, at least you are at your own mercy. You can control the outcome. Worst case scenario, I am where I started. I tried to create something. Now I have a story to tell. Now I learned something, and I learned about business. I have experience. People pay thousands of dollars for the knowledge and experience I gained since I started this. This is basically a mini MBA school. If you asked me about any of these terms a year ago, I would have looked at you like, what language are you speaking? But now I am getting familiar with this. The growth happens outside of comfort zone. And if you are not comfortable leaving your comfort zone, then you will stay where you are.
I couldn't agree more. Do you have any advice for the listener, an advice in business that actually matters, that nobody gave you in the beginning?
Focus on systems, focus on profit, and don't worry too much about your passion. Even though I am actually here an example of making a product that is my passion, which is how it started, right now it's more about the systems and the profit and less about I'm passionate about this certain product. Because unless you're making money, unless you have the systems in place, that passion is going to fade away when you are not seeing any returns.
I couldn't have said it better. So basically, listen to the market. Yes, your passion is great. It's what got you here. But to get to where you want to go from here, you need to focus on the systems, the distribution, and the marketing.
Yes.
Marketing will sell, not the product. That's why Steve Jobs said, focus on marketing first, product later, which was something life changing for me when I first heard about it. I was like, wait, that sounds so unethical. What do you mean focus on the product later? It's not some sort of scam. It's not some sort of, oh, let's get over on people with marketing and sell them nothing. It's about going through with the marketing journey and the ideation of the product and seeing the response first from the market. And then once you get the positive feedback, you can focus on the product with confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can sell an idea, without the actual product to back it up, the world is your oyster. And if you figure out the marketing thing, and you can sell anything. So in the beginning of the process, I gave 100% of my focus to the product, to creating the world's best chocolate hazelnut spread. And I think I achieved it. I trust my product. I trust its quality, the taste, and everything. And I look at my field, I look at my competitions, not only direct competitions, but other companies in the nut butter space. And I see what sells, what doesn't. And there are certain products out there that has absolutely no value in it, but the marketing behind it is so strong, people are getting in line to buy it. They just buy it. And then I'm looking at like, why are you buying this? This is nothing. Like you said, without marketing, it doesn't matter. If nobody knows about it, it can be the best thing in the world. It's not going to sell. So right now, my focus is learning more about the marketing and how to sell. And like you said, the customer who's never been in this field might look at this as a scam or as something shifty, but it is the harsh truth. Everything you own right now, you own it because the marketing got you. Somehow, maybe it was the packaging, maybe it was the commercial, maybe it was even a subconscious thing. You never bought anything without a marketing piece in it.
I also have an example, a story from a recent encounter with a prospect. She told me that she went through my videos on social media and YouTube and my podcast, and she loves the information I'm sharing, but she'd been burned before by marketers that talk a good talk and market themselves so well. She ended up hiring them and she didn't see results. That didn't infuriate me like you would expect. That validates the fact that marketing comes before the product. And that's why she needed the marketing first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to tell her the truth. That's why marketing matters so much. And that's why you should hire me. But thank you so much for sharing that. So as the last part of the show, we're going to do this thing called rapid fire. We're going to keep the answers short. It's the first thing or the other thing. Okay. Shelf space or followers?
Shelf space. Followers don't pay the bills.
No. Profit or growth?
Profit. Growth without profit means you will go broke faster.
Retail or DTC?
DTC for profit, retail for scale.
Love that. Quality or scale?
Quality. If you lose it, it will eventually collapse.
Eventually, right? One loyal customer or 1,000 casual buyers?
One loyal customer every single time.
Really? For a $16 product?
Yes.
I know.
At least it means something.
Entrepreneur or employee mindset?
Entrepreneur mindset. You win or lose with your own decisions.
Stability or freedom?
It's a hard one, especially as a father of two. Freedom, but don't forget your responsibilities.
That was a safe answer. Slow growth or fast failure?
Slow growth. Fast failure is for big corporations that can burn millions of dollars.
Passion or profit?
Profit. Passion's overrated. And if you're not passionate about profit, you're in the wrong place anyway.
Discipline or motivation?
Discipline. Motivation is transient. You can't rely on it.
I love that. Comfort or expansion?
Expansion. Like I said before, nothing ever grows in the comfort zone.
One big win or consistent small wins?
Consistent small wins. One big win is not going to last you long.
Control or delegation?
Delegation. I've never met anyone who can do everything. That's how you stay small, by trying to do everything yourself.
Burnout or boredom?
Burnout. At least you tried something.
Talent or consistency?
Consistency.
I love that. Thank you so much for this conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. All right. If you were to say one last thing to my audience, Born to Scale listeners, what would that one thing be?
Your first step is validating your idea. And the only way to do that is putting a price tag on it and trying to sell it to someone you don't know. And once you have that, you have a business, and now it's time to grow. Just know that you can't do it alone, and you need to rely on experts like Meg and in other fields. And you are going to spend your money in the beginning. And if you try to just hold on to every cent you have, you're not going to have a lot of cents to hold on to eventually. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, just embrace the entrepreneur mindset. And this is a long journey. Don't expect in the age of social media right now, there's a lot of get rich quick schemes and overnight success examples that you see. That's not the reality. And just know that this is a long journey, and you need support and friends along this journey. So pick them well and stick to them.
That's it. That is the message that somebody wanted to hear out there today. So thank you so much, Mustafa. We wish you the best in your entrepreneurial journey. I know that Sweet Nothings is going to go places
I hope
because
so
I
too.
like it and I'm difficult. I can tell you that.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This was such a fun podcast, and I hope to do it again.